Great. Great. Shall we start?
Yes.
Wonderful. Shashi, I've just watched Women of My Billion, and it's really still a little emotional after watching it.
Yeah.
So uh, I can only imagine what you went through while you were making this and doing this. And I understand, of course, I've watched it, so I understand why you did so. But I think we need to tell our viewers why Shrishti Bakshi, perfectly happy, doing very well, lived in Hong Kong, why she chose to embark on this amazing journey on foot through India and to speak and listen to the women of India and what they are going through, what they were going through, what they are going through, and continue to go through, and how it changed her. So, Shrishti, over to you.
Thank you, Kaveri. I know it's a difficult watch, so thank you for watching
Yeah.
it. It is, I just go back in time a little bit. I am an army officer's daughter, so I have deep love for my country. I was in Hong Kong for over 5 years. I used to interact with a host of people, like, in my network, in abroad. And every time people spoke about India, they had this wide smile on their face. They have this intrigue of India, mystique of India. But whenever I used to talk to them about why don't you come and visit, and when you visit, let me know, and they used to be like, no, we don't want to visit your country because it's not safe. And that used to like really put me in a spiral. That but I have grown up in this country, and it deserves better. It deserves a better space in their mind. And then came up point in time where there was a news article about a girl and her mother. They were gang raped in front of the father on a highway. And I remember reading this news on a bus and going back home, and I could not sit with it anymore. I used to be an armchair activist up until that point, where I used to fire away my anger whenever something used to happen and point fingers that, something should be done about it. But then I felt that I have to do something about it. Nobody else is going to do anything about it at the moment. So I picked up, basically I left my job and I came back to India alongside. Then I got UN as a partner, UN Women as a partner. A lot of partners joined in. And I went on the walk because I wanted to know the ground reality from the women themselves. And I also wanted to find solutions from the journey itself. So that is the reason why I decided that I would take this step forward. And I felt that I am the best person to do it. I have the training, I have the motivation, and I can do it. I did come from a point of privilege, so there should be nothing which should stop me from doing this. So that's the reason why I did it.
Wonderful. Which year was this, Shrishti, and how old were you?
2016, I was 30 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and 2016 is when I decided that I would walk. 2017 is.
Right. And it took you 280 days and what, 3,800 kilometers, right?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a practice walk pattern and a lot of things in planning. India is not a country where you just pick up a backpack and start moving. You
Yeah.
have to plan it. And, because this was not an athletic endeavor, it was a people's movement. So
Right.
I remember sitting with my father. He had just retired at that point in time. So me and my father, we wrote letters to each and every district collector along the way.
Right.
And some responded, some didn't. But those who did, they supported us in a very big way.
Right.
They came, it was literally like, welcoming in one district and then sending off to another district. And they connected with their neighborly
Mm.
collector to help me, because we needed to gather people. We need to get women, girls, men, elders in the villages, convening points to be able to have a conversation with them. So it took me a whole year to plan this.
Right. And how has it changed you, Shrishti? And, the film that has come out of it, when people watch it, where are you at currently? Are you the same Shrishti who began this journey or started thinking of this journey in 2016?
Very much. Once you go through a process like this, it changes you from the inside. It's not. I I used to be in brand and marketing as a career path. I left that. I still today work in the direction of women and more. Apart from gender, I work in climate environment. Basically, I'm at the moment working in a place where, right from Ecuador all the way to sub-Saharan Africa, there are projects which happen on the ground, and they need planning, resources, innovation. So I basically, I go into leadership positions in a lot of charities, nonprofits, train them in new ways of operations and thinking, and then, kind of take a step back. So I've been doing that continuously since the journey has been over. It also took me into an accelerated path of visibility. So I was awarded the UN SDG Changemaker. That kind of brought a whole fresh of work for me, because people started connecting, and I get like, till today 2 or 3 inquiries every other day to be able to assist and create these movements. So I have found my niche path. It brings me joy to wake up every day because I love my job of being
Yeah.
able to make an impact even till today.
Where are you based, and are you working independently now?
Yes, so I'm based in the UK. After my walk was over, I have a partner, husband. He was in Hong Kong. I did not leave him, so he kept joining my journey, and then he moved to the UK. So after my walk was over, I moved to the UK. But pandemic hit after that.
Right.
A lot effort was directed towards remote working. So I work remotely in a lot of these different projects even today. I am the executive director on Global Philanthropics. So I work with philanthropy sector in a very deep way to find these gems of, of these various projects that are happening, be it a water project or a girls' education project, or Sente Bale. It's a African charity who works on empowering young voices and girls. So now it is like the world. There is so much work. It's just I have less time to be able to do everything.
Yeah. Wonderful. And what of the women who you met along the way? And some, of course, there's a deeper focus on them in the film, but I'm sure there's a deep focus on a lot of women through the journey. And have you kept in touch? Have they managed to change their lives? Because the whole point of it, as you said, is the silence. You have to break the silence. So have women been able to do that, the women you touched?
Yes, in many, many ways, countless, because even like today, my Facebook is open for this reason, because I get a inquiry from a girl who might be in class 5th standard when I must have met her on the ground. And today she's in like 10th or 9th. And she writes to me and says that I met you in so and so school. Uh,
Wow.
this is what I did. At that time, I was very underconfident, and then they send me their videos of debating on a platform. It is just
Wow.
heartbreaking. Every time it brings me to tears, because I feel that, when you start a journey like this, you're like, एक भी अगर life change होगी,
Of
it's
course.
worth it, right? So it's like an everyday thing, and it feels like it's going to be lifelong. And today we have the film is going to be released on Amazon Prime, one of the widest distribution platforms. um, and to be honest, Kaveri, people who have joined my journey, they have this intrinsic motivation. The people who are in this room, they are here for that purpose. It suddenly doesn't become about their job.
Yeah.
Priyanka has joined this journey because they are intrinsically motivated to be able to assist and support.
How
So,
did you manage to reach out to Priyanka? Did she watch it? You send the movie to her? How did that happen?
yes, so this happened through Audacious Originals. That's the production house.
Yeah.
And it's my sister's production house. So, my
Oh,
sister
okay.
she is an Emmy Award winning producer at
Apurva
Apurva.
Bakshi. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Wonderful woman.
yeah, she's a one woman army.
Yeah.
So when we started the journey, she said that I'm going to send some camera people who will be assisting you. And at that time, I was in this whole deep of research methodologies that I want to research, I want to document so that I have evidence of reporting. I was also supported by Ramnath Kovind ji, at the time president. So I had this whole vested interest in showing to him when I reached Delhi what I discovered on the road. So I wanted documentation, and then at some point Monisha came on board, and she said, and they were at the time, imagine, making Delhi crime. It just so
Oh
happened. It is
God.
not a, it's a
Yeah, talk
coincidence.
about coincidence.
Yeah, that they are working on Delhi crime. I'm doing this journey. And then this whole, lobby started that this has to be a documentary. And then they created the name Women of My Billion. And then people started joining, young cinematographers, young editors, all this like first timers as well came and joined. Um, and it became a film today for what it is. So Priyanka was approached by Apurva, and
Right.
because Priyanka supports these,
Yeah.
projects. She is a UNICEF ambassador, and she was very visible in the work that she was doing for girls. And oh boy, the amount of wind that she blew beneath her wings, it is really like something which is commendable, because she takes personal interest. She doesn't do it out of she shares the spotlight. Very few people do that
Yeah.
in their field. So the sharing of the spotlight, I think, like, it's so authentic in
Yeah.
her nature.
Right. Who else has seen it? And I mean, have some of the people who are in the movie seen it? I wonder what they feel. It must be, life altering.
It is. I mean, Dr. Sangeeta,
Mm.
imagine
Oh
where
yeah,
she has come from, like in what capacity and how many things can God throw at a woman, right? In terms of uh,
absolutely.
like being a widow and then still pursuing her study, and those books under her, रज़ाई के नीचे book ही पढ़ती रहती थी. She used to hold on to those
Yeah,
books,
yeah.
and she saw the film, and she made her son watch the film.
Wow.
And like the I we documented like the son's reaction. He's a doctor himself now today, but he really, like, kind of saw his mom in another light,
Yeah.
right? That, oh my God, what have you done for a person like me? Like felt that I'm so trivial, but look at this woman, she has dedicated her life. So I felt that the men in the room, I think, get very, very moved, because as women, we know half
Yeah.
of the things that we see, right? On the contrary, even the strongest of men find it very difficult to comprehend that it is this ingrained, it is this difficult, it is so hard. So I feel that, like, a lot of men get motivated in many ways. A lot of boys come back and say, I'm going to call my mother today and talk to her, that if, there's something that she wants to share. So I feel that it is striking the right kind of connect with the audience. We won 11 Audience Choice Awards from 15 festivals that we appeared in.
Wow.
So, after the watch, people change in some capacity.
Right. And Shrishti, I found so interesting that you had similar themes resonating across India. I mean, and I love the way you cut those scenes, when you talk about chai. I mean, a woman from Kashmir responds the same way as, say, a woman from the South. So,
Yeah.
what were some of those things that, you threw at women, and you saw the same instant reaction across India, across geographies, across class, across caste? You saw the same kind of reaction.
Yeah, the chai is a story of an Indian woman. It is so ingrained. In fact, like, cannot. I look at my network and I look at people I have met all my life. I can't find another pair of parents like mine who are
Yeah.
so equal, right? Who give equality so much of importance.
And I love that scene where your father's sort of, helping you flex your feet. It's so sweet.
And I used to tell this in my workshops, that अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि ये मैंने नहीं सुना, कि बेटा चाय तो बनाना सीख लो, क्या कहे, this is my mother's dialogue. It is
अच्छा.
my mom's dialogue. So because and of course, like, it is not like to trivialize the,
Yeah,
the stereotype, but it is so ingrained ki this is how our thinking is.
yeah,
So yeah, yesterday in some conversation with Priyanka, we were discussing about log kya kahenge, right?
yeah. Favorite, another favorite.
Favorite, log kya kahenge. So she is constantly in limelight, and she still faces it today,
Yeah,
being one of the most empowered women of the nation.
exactly.
So the girls in villages are also facing it. We are also facing it. So there is a certain kind of thinking process that needs to
Yeah,
change, and that is what this film is about. Ki bhai, you have to give the woman a choice. Usko kab shaadi karni hai, when she wants to leave her studies, what she wants to do in her life, what are her dreams, choice to even opine on it, opinion dena. So
right.
these are some of the themes that cut across, and you will be surprised how much of violence is, across the whole world. Yes, in India we hear about it a lot. In
Yeah,
across the country we hear about it a lot. But what my favorite thing is that what happens. The observation is that what happens in those four walls, violence, is the same, whether it's
yeah,
happening in Ecuador, in Brazil, in US, in UK, or in India. It's the same.
that's true. In fact, I wonder, what was the reaction of women from other nations when you showed it to them? Did they get it? Yeah, it happens to us.
Absolutely. It is very much a conversation in the US. We won the SCAD, Festival Audience Choice Awards, um, and there were personalities like Trevor Noah's girlfriend Minka. She was there in the audience, and they deeply resonate. They feel that, because you can see in the film also, बहुत लोगों को लगता है that this happens only in poor households.
Yeah, no,
It doesn't. It
we
happens.
know that.
You can
Yeah,
see Neha in the film, who comes from a
yeah,
very privileged background,
absolutely.
but it happened to her as well. So it can happen
Right.
to anybody, and it happens. So I think it cuts across that whole class and caste and
Yeah.
everything kind of conversation, that this is a human problem. It is not a, you know mm, how we are diverse in nature, that problem. It is everybody's problem.
Very difficult to top an experience like this, Shrishti, but what are you planning?
So today we are obviously at a, helm of this release, and it's happening. Amazon is putting their might behind creating conversations through this film, so documentary. So we have the right kind of mix right now.
Yeah.
And it's not that it has come by magic. It has a lot of hard work behind it.
Oh, yeah.
My journey continues as a person who wants to champion women, and kind of across the world work in this direction of being able to have these challenging conversations. And each person who is associated with this film, even the people in this room, like, they're here for a cause, right? So I think the hope is that people have a conversation around it, evaluate their behavior if they have to, reflect a lot about what they can do in the future.
I wonder if you could do something to change the men as well.
This is in that effort to have this conversation with the entire room, right? And
Yeah.
Karan, I'll tell you one thing, very, like, on a lot of platforms I get asked, ki, bhai, women to theek hai, why don't you, like, get men changed? A woman is like, she holds half the sky,
Yeah.
and if you give her the right kind of, like, support, vision, वो अपना पाथ खुद ढूंढते हैं फिर. It is so.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Could you repeat that? Sorry, Shrishti.
And what I'm saying is that the women, if you give them the right kind of support structure and the choice, they make this happen for themselves. So if you plant a seed in her mind as to what is possible, it very much becomes something that she starts veering and going towards. So yes, it is important to change the men, but if we can do it ourselves again, then all, like, we'll be able to do it much faster. So that is why my work actually focuses on the women, because I truly feel that we have some kind of special powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do it ourselves.
हम अपने आप ही कर लेंगे.
Wonderful. Shishti, that's another thing that I loved about the documentary. It's so much there's so much trauma in it, but there's also humor and there's also laughter. And I think that's pretty much the way our lives are as women, right? We have so much to deal with, but we also have a laugh at the end of the day. It's all not all doom and gloom. And I love the way that you've captured that, that aspect of a woman's life, because we are not always bicharis. Even
Exactly.
if we
नहीं,
are
हाँ.
bicharis with a good, we can have a laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give you an example. This is really funny. So this woman, she came up and we were saying कि अच्छा ये जो alcohol के बाद, these husbands come back home and beat you and all. क्या करना चाहिए इसके बारे में? So this one woman, she's like, fully clad, एकदम घूंघट and all. She's like, she takes off her घूंघट and she's like, मैं आपको बताती हूँ क्या करना है. She's like, when my husband comes like sozzled, like, totally drunk, what I do is I actually tie his feet to the tree outside, right? And his hands. And वो उस समय बहुत दहाड़ता है, सब करता है, पर सुबह होने से पहले मैं उसको खोल देती हूँ, तो उसको लगता है कि वो रोज आके वहां गिर जाता है. So I am safe because he doesn't get to hit me. He doesn't remember anything what has happened, and I'm telling you, what a hearty laugh. And some women actually took that idea home. I'm very sure. So
Yeah,
so these are the moments where we are like, that's why I say that, if you plant the seed, if you plant the
yeah,
idea, it will take its shape. She will
yeah.
find.
Wonderful. What a pleasure talking to you, Shrishti. And I really wish you all the best. And I wait for wait to see what you do next. I'm sure it'll be as exciting. But of course, very difficult, as I said, to top this. But thank you so much. It's a great watch. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.